Good evening from Just Jamie. How you doing? So, who have I got here tonight? Looks like we got a single person so far. Okay, looks like we got two people here. So, just while we're waiting, what I'm going to do is put a bit of music on. No, I'm not going to actually. Who have we got here tonight? Anyways, welcome to the live stream. I'm your host, Just Jamie. Hey, yeah, I thought I'd just do another live stream just to catch up with everyone. Potentially talk to some new subscribers who's obviously watching this right now. So reveal yourselves. Okay, I was actually just in the process of editing a video, and I thought to myself, let's actually do a live stream. The next video I'm planning on doing is very bad games for the humble Commodore 64 by a particular publisher of the 80s and 90s. If you're into C64, then all I'll say is that it was a publisher which pretty much had licenses for all the major arcade games of the day. Um, I'll say Final Fight and Street Fighter 2. Anyways, what I'm going to do whilst we're waiting for some people to join, I'm actually going to boot up a C64 game and actually show you how bad one of these games were I was just playing a minute ago. This is Game Base 64. I obviously play my C64 games on this. If you're interested in Game Base 64, I've actually done a setup guide for this one, and yeah, I use this front end for Commodore 64 videos. Publishers. So we are looking for US gold, and I'm going to show you likely one of the worst ports of an arcades game you've possibly seen. So let me just search for it. It's US gold Capcom. Now, really, we got a choice here. We got Final Fight or we've got Street Fighter 2. So both of these are equally is bad. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do, really down to one viewer right now. So I'm actually going to just leave this for 5 minutes and just see who else joins. You know what? What I'm going to do is bear with me a sec. Here we go. This might bring in some more viewers. We got someone we can talk to. So who have we got here? Please reveal yourself. It's very quiet here. Okay, so for the people who's here, video I uploaded today, which you might be aware of, is a very quick, and I mean very quick, retrobat setup guide. I literally did the setup guide in what, 5 minutes? Also did launchbox last night. Obviously, that one was actually a bit longer. That one was under 8 minutes. So I thought to myself, instead of doing long-winded tutorials, the option's there if you want it. With these two very short setups tutorials I've done, the option is there if you want to have a quick sneak peek at what some front ends got to offer. And of course, if you like the look of them, then you can go on to check out the longer setup guides. For example, retrobat today. I did say in that 5 minute guide, very, very, very basic setup. But you got the option there, if you like that particular front end, to use the longer in-depth front ends setup guides. So yeah, it's just a way of getting people to check out particular front ends they've not seen before. Anyways, what I'm going to do whilst we're waiting for someone to chat, I'm going to boot up a game. This is Final Fight on C64. It's going to be a video I'm working on. Worst of the worst US gold games. And trust me, you won't get much worse than this one. So obviously Final Fight, massive game. When did it release? 1990? 89, 1990? Massive release and a very popular release. It was known for its massive sprites in the arcades. And then you got the Commodore 64 version, which really shouldn't have been done, but it was done. So really, people get ready to be amazed by this game. Yeah. So this is just going to be a sneak peek of what's to come in my next video. Now, if you're expecting the boss at the end of this stage to be really big and whistling, that type of thing, like in the original, uh, don't expect that in this version. So obviously, in the original, you've got I normally plays Hager. Character I selected. I'm not sure who this is. I actually think this is Hager, or it's Hager, one or the other. So yeah, obviously this is just a really, really bad game. Really bad game. Anyways, you get the gist of that one. And what I'm going to do is, for those who's not familiar with Final Fight, which I find is very unlikely, but let's just say you've never seen it before. I'm going to show you what is supposed to look like. So let's just type in Final Fight Arcade. Just put this one on. So yeah, epic fail. Of course, C64 is relimited, but still very bad port. If you want to see something that's equally as distressing as that one, no, wrong one. Let's check out. Is anybody actually going to speak tonight, or I feel like I'm talking to myself? Ah, okay. So Ujib is here. Hello again, Ujib. Well, that was the only thing you could rely on back in the day was the imagination. And yeah, you're right, but still pretty bad. Now, if you're not familiar with the C64 Street Fighter 2 port, then be prepared. Now, Street Fighter 2 for C64, that tune you can hear is literally repeated all the way through, and it's quite likely the easiest so-called beat 'em up. So yeah, that's enough of Street Fighter 2 by US Gold. That's the reason I'm doing this stream because I was pretty much editing and doing a new video, and I had enough of playing some of these games. I just got sick to death. That's just two of them. Final Fight, Street Fighter 2. Actually, that's likely two of the best ones from US Gold. So, who else have we got here? We got a fair few viewers as of now, and no one's talking to me. Do I smell or something? I had a shower actually earlier on, so yeah. Oh, hello, Rasp. Amazing. So it's actually talking to me. It's good to see you here. I was literally just about to end the stream, and then you came along. So hello. Yeah, sometimes it's like that live streaming. You'll have a lot of viewers, and no one tends to chat, which I find what's going on? Obviously, I need someone to talk to. Um, so if you just joined Rasp, I was just playing some really bad US school C64 games. So what are you up to today, Rasp? So if you've not seen it yet, I've uploaded a retrobat setup guide in less than 5 minutes today. And the reason I did that is just to give people a little glimpse with particular front ends they might not be accustomed to or not seen before. So yeah, it's proven popular as most of my retrobat videos normally do. So yes, get some people out there to look at some of these. Of course, last night I also did a launchbox in what 8 minutes. Very easy setup, guys, and straight to the point. I was writing some basic code on my C64 emulator. You know what? Let's do a bit of coding. Where's my game base folder? GTK3. If I open up Vice, I'm going to show you how impressive my coding is. And you're going to be amazed by this, like properly amazed. So I'm just going to tell you this is no assembly language, but nevertheless you're likely going to be impressed with the code or the lines I'm going to type in. So we're going to go for 10. Uh, yeah, and we're going to put just Jamie rules. What is it next? We want semicolon. Now let's see, line 20. Now let's see. It's been a while. Line 20 is going to be go to 10. And we want to run. Now check this out. Oh no, what have I done? I've done something wrong there. I've not done this for a long time. Probably 10 years ago, I was getting fairly good at basic. Actually managed to create a sprite, which was really fun on graph paper. Convert the sprite into data, which obviously when you create a sprite, you need to enable particular things on the C64. And yeah, I actually managed to control the sprite I created with a controller. Print, that's the one. So 10 print. Or we can do more fancy, we can go 10 question mark. Just Jamie's coming back now a little bit. And we're gonna have a semicolon just there. Um Semicolon and 20, and we are gonna go to 10. And if we run, yeah, man, boom. Awesome stuff. Now that's some of what kids don't do nowadays, and it's a damn shame. Obviously we got all our pokes, that sort of stuff. Let's just go to new for now, and we're gonna go for poke. What was the codes for change of fonts, uh, character colors? 3280. Yeah, there we go. Boom! Look at that. And hello, Philip. No worries at all. You stay with us if you want. I'm just showing off my basic skills. So you know what? Now I've just remembered the pokes for the border, the colors. We can actually make a little program about this. So if I just go to new, let's check this out. 10. Yeah, let's go for poke. Poke, poke, poke. 53280. Yeah. Let's see if I'm gonna make this happen. 53280. No, no, no. So oh, go for 4 there. And I don't know what I'm doing to be honest. But we're gonna go to 10. No, I don't. Oh, well, if we type in run, you can see it's actually doing something just there. Yeah. So, anyways, like I was saying, 10 years ago, I was looking into basic and it wasn't actually coming along too well. It was coming along pretty good, but just gave up. 30. Okay. 10, poke, 53280, 1, and 20, poke, 53280, and we're going to go for 4 again. And you're saying 30, so if we go to yeah, yeah. What you're saying is I've missed out line 30. I see what you're saying. So if we go to no, whoa, go to 10, that should then repeat that loop. So run, boom, look at that. Okay. So I need to get back into this basic stuff. It is fun what you can do. I understand, Philip or Philippe. Yeah, take care. Thanks for joining briefly. It's good to see you. Jamie Loader. Yeah, man. Okay. So what else can we do here? So we got the border poke just there. Trying to think of something else. 53281. What does this poke do? Nah, wrong pokes. Yeah, that's the issue with coding, especially on basic, is that everything is literally numbers. And you know what? Nowadays, it's not actually so bad. You can just type into something like Google pokes for C64, and yeah, you got loads just there. So there we go. Poke 53280, the screen color. Let's copy a bit of this and see what happens. Yeah, that's the issue with using a modern day keyboard with C64 stuff, is that obviously today's keyboards have now been for a long time very different to the old fashioned ones. Yeah. Anyways, I think I'm leave that be. I think I've showed everyone most of my amazing skills just there with a bit of basic. Don't get me started on assembly language because that'll be even more impressive. So not too busy tonight. Hello, Fu One Ton. Good to see you here. I don't think you've been in my stream before, have you? But it's nice to see new people. A new version of Vice. To my knowledge, I've got two versions of it here for a couple of different reasons. I got 3.8, and I've also got a copy of it in GameBase 3.6.1. So I'm not actually sure, to be honest with you, if this one just here is the latest version. Anyways, you could always buy some stickers and put them on a modern day keyboards, and you can actually go into settings and voice, obviously, to change region settings, that type of thing. But there is codes online which keys does what for the C64. So yeah, cool, man. Okay, yeah, the app thing. Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, so yeah, we got a lot of people here. Well, 7 people. What I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna just call it a night. I mean, don't really know what to say. I was hoping to talk about well, just a few things really. I did my first video. I'm going to do a series on Novaload. Novaload's a very good front end. I covered that a little while back. So I don't know if you've seen the video I did, but where is it? Let's see. If it's in Nova, the front ends was or Ocean early 90s. So let's go to Ocean. So Codemasters, we've got. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what you mean by Novaload, but so one way's Rasp. Yeah, you did your first video. Let's take a look at it. If you can drop me a link for it. I'm always interested in new C64 stuff. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean now. So yeah, I'm on board with you there. Yeah, I think as a kid I had a few games which had Nova on it, and I can't think for the life of me which ones they were, but I know what you're saying. So I tell you what, Rasp, what I'm going to do, because it's pretty much just you talking to me. I'm not sure actually what's going on tonight. Normally I'm teaming with people chatting, but I'm not sure. I mean, I started this stream half an hour ago, and I don't know, bad slow connection. I have to set my sound a bit better. Yeah, that can be a little bit of a problem sometimes when you're recording sound and all that. Yeah, in the past, I've had people complain on older videos that they couldn't hear me with the music too loud. And I invested in a microphone, had some donations. So I ended up getting a microphone to plug into the laptop, which nowadays you can actually hear what I'm saying. It's a lot clearer, a lot louder. Seen your latest C64 video. Latest C64 video, Carlos. That was the games that I grew up with. So yeah, that's literally ranking every game of my childhood. Choplifter, Drop Zone, Thrust. Yeah, Thrust is a very good game. And you know what? Impossible Mission, that's never entirely sold on. Now, I don't know if you follow the community for new Commodore games, but a game almost similar to Impossible Mission came out a little while back from Cytronic. It's got a very odd name. I can't think for the life of me, but I actually bought it. Like I do with new Commodore games, I will I've got odd feeling it begins with a H. If I just, where was it? See if I can go to my library. Ah, there we go. Haragon. This is some C64 games that I've bought from itch.io. And the game, which is a lot like Mission Impossible Mission, that's the game to check out just there. Um, yeah, there's kind of similarities in it to some extent, and it yeah, it reminded me of the game you're talking about. Hello, Mark. How you doing? It's actually good to see people here talking to me. Yeah, it's pretty much on my own for half an hour. Were there a Commodore 128? There was. The Commodore 128 actually released in 1985. The Commodore 128 had a C64 mode on it, which mainly people use, but the actual size of the 128 was pretty much like the size of an Amiga 500. Um, so yeah, it was a bit of a flop, but you had two modes on it. Commodore 128 modes, and really there was only a few exclusive games for 128. So yeah, like I say, a lot of people um, pretty much use it for the C64 mode on it. I have one in the box. Yeah, they're worth quite a fortune. Obviously, for the amount of money they were selling for in 1985, you know, I'd imagine most people back there would have rather invested in something fresh and brand new, like the Amiga computers. But yeah, I had a 128, and it was a nice system. Um, but yeah, every now and again on the scene, you will see um, games being written for Commodore 128. There was a recent one. God, I can't think what game it was, but there's a game which came out recently, and it had 64 mode and 128 mode. Uh, so yeah, you know, interestingly, Mark, when I was a kid, obviously on Commodore 64 cassettes, it very often says, if I just put in Commodore 64 Hit Squad game, it very often says on C64 games, if we check this one, it will say Commodore 64 slash 128. So it pretty much just says that it's going to work on both machines. Yeah, Spectrum had a 128K model, and the Amstrad 128K version was the 6128, I think. I think it was the Amstrad 6128, pretty sure it was. I've had Amstrads over the years, but to be honest, Amstrad it isn't really for me. But saying that, Spectrum wasn't for me when I was younger. But nowadays, I totally appreciate just Amstrad. I like the style with the keyboards. The 464 CPC 464 was a nice keyboard. Um, and yeah, they were nice. I just didn't get on with the games. I just felt they were a lot of them were kind of cheap rip-offs, not rip-offs, but direct ports um, from Spectrum, and they just didn't seem a lot of them like they were actually designed for a fresh new computer. Obviously, Amstrad materialized because Alan Sugar um, bought the Sinclair brand, and then he pretty much started trying to monopolize on Amstrad. Then their last straw was the Amstrad GX 4000, which just like the C64 GS was an absolute flop. Yeah, the Commodore 16, it was a nice looking computer. So obviously it was in the style of the VIC 20, uh, the case of it, the shell. Um, Yeah, but th- I wouldn't say it was a major failure of a computer for Commodore. I'll just say, by the seams of it, it could have done better. Yeah, so we actually bought out Sinclair in 19, trying to think, around 1985-ish, 1986. And of course, I think by the time Alan Sugar started the Amstrad CPC computers. I think in the UK at least, I think the audience was already established with kids playing C64 or Spectrum games. I knew a couple of kids back in the day who had an Amstrad, but even back then I wasn't entirely sold. I didn't like the sound chip much, and yeah, I think Amstrad, you either love it or hate it. That one. Hello, Donovan. How you doing, my friends? We're talking about Commodore 64 again and stuff like that. So, how is this possible? On my live streams, how are we managing to talk about Commodore? I don't understand. It seems to happen every stream. Which is interesting because just a few months ago, it's almost like my channel was coming across a little bit like a retrobat channel. And at the time, I was like, no, I do much, much more than retrobat. And it's actually nice nowadays to be a little bit more accepted, like the channel which does everything. But it wasn't always like that. I had a struggle. So for those into politics, it looks like North Korea has signed a pact with Russia to aid Russia. So we got World War III coming, I think. So we better start learning some retro gaming stuff before it's too late. Don't want to sound too doom and gloomy. And interesting that I was just playing a game called Human Killing Machine for C64, and the first fight was in Moscow. And believe it or not, I was fighting a dog. Open bore. Open bore, open bore, open bore, open bore is good. I did a guide for open bore on Retrobat. Open bore is Beats of Rage, and it's uh like an engine where people will use old arcade games and they kind of make their own version of a game. For example, there was a He-Man Masters of the Universe game made using open bore. If I just type in open bore, Beats of Rage goes way back to uh, Sega Dreamcast games day. Sorry. So here it is. You can actually download open bore just here. That one just there. That's the He-Man game I was just talking about. And you've got lots of good quality games. It's something I need to do a bit more of on the channel. Yeah, so yeah, really good stuff. And if you check out top games for open bore, there's plenty of really cool games stuff.
Welcome to 10 Top Games. Meanwhile, Leonardo, he spins around with both of his katana blades out. Goes right up my alley. So some characters can pick up weapons that are laying on the ground like Billy and Jimmy. However, the one downside of this game, though, is that the combat's very simple and isn't very impactful. I wish they would. So we leveled up both of our characters to level 9, and now we're going to.
So yeah, really cool stuff. And I tell you what, if you've not checked out the video, what I've done, I forget if you're a Retrobat user, but this is the guide I did for it for Retrobat. Yeah, definitely recommend that. Like I say, I've been meaning to do something else for it. Yeah, the He-Man game is totally awesome. It was a really enjoyable game to play. Yeah, very good games for open bore, definitely. Personally, He-Man was a little bit before my time. My brother was more of that era. He's 5 years older than me. But I remember as a kid, my brother, he had a Castle Grayskull, He-Man figures, that type of thing. He also had the He-Man Masters of the Universe or Masters of the Universe video on VHS back then, with Dolph Lundgren who played He-Man. And yeah, that was a real bad film. It's a terrible. Not the greatest, but Believe it or not, there's actually a new He-Man film coming out at some point. I think it's called Grey Skull. It's either going to be a series or a film. I can't think which one, but it's coming back. And Thundercats need to come back. Let's see a film about Thundercats. I used to love that. Yeah, Thundercats. That was just an awesome, awesome cartoon. I had loads of Thundercats figures when I was little. There's a little character in Thundercats, and I can never think of the name of it. It was kind of like this little, almost like a ghosty thing with a robe around it. I'm sure that was Thundercats. Let's have a look. Thundercats on Thundercats. Yeah, that was it. Um, yeah, it was actually He-Man, I think. Uh, the little character. You know what? It's been so long. Panthro. Yeah, I had to figure a Panthro. Who did I have? I had Panthro. Forget all their names. Lion. That's Lion-O. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the main one's Lion-O. I forgot. It's been so long. But yeah, used to love Thundercats when I was a kid. Biker Mice from Mars. Yeah, that was very popular. Early 90s, and it was a very popular cartoon. I watched it. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I remember how big it was. You had figures of it, you had toys of it, and a bit like Pogs, it was massive, and then all of a sudden it totally got forgotten about. And I was saying to the missus the other day, Pogs could easily make a comeback today. Kids are like collecting things, and Pogs were just awesome. Mysterious City Schools. I've not heard of that one, James. Outward the Planets. Yeah, I've not heard of that one. Really, my era for cartoons was I was born 83, 1983. So I suppose the earliest cartoons I remember was probably Super Ted and Banana Man. Um, and that was it. So if you're in America, you likely wouldn't have heard of those two. But early 90s, I can remember watching stuff on Saturdays and after school, that type of thing. And yeah, I watched plenty. Just trying to think. The Raccoons. The Raccoons is a cartoon I used to watch back then. Early 90s, that was. Obviously, I was a Turtles fan. Tazos, I do. I'm pretty sure Tazos were available in Walker's Crisps. Danger Mouse. Yeah, Danger Mouse, voiced by David Jason. Proper old school, yeah. So Super Ted, Banana Man, Danger Mouse. Yeah. You know what? I got the funniest memory. I was in a club one night when I lived back in Bristol, and there was someone dressed up as Banana Man, and he was pissed up and he got in a fight with somebody, and I just couldn't take this bloke seriously. He was there done up as Banana Man, and he was there having a fight with drinks flying about everywhere. Raggy dolls, dolls like you and me. Yeah, man, I used to watch that. Very cool stuff. Used to love Raggy Dolls. That was on ITV, Channel 3 back then, I suppose. Count Duckula. Yeah, I used to watch that as well. I actually had Count Duckula wallpaper. Like, seriously, that was, again, just like a lot of these old cartoons, they were massive in their day, and then they just totally got forgotten about. Penny Crayon. That's a name I've not heard in a long time. Willow the Wisp. Whisper the Willows? Not Whisper the Willows, was it? Willow the Wisp. I don't know. Yeah, plenty of good memories. Trapdoor Man, stay away from that trapdoor. Yeah. Yeah, that was obviously an 80s program. That's proper old school. So maybe I'm the youngest here, I'm not sure, but really for my interest for the Commodore 64, normally people are a lot older than me, at least 10 years. They have my Commodore 64 a lot later. literally around 91. So yeah, Telebugs. Here, Telebugs. Game Master. I used to watch that. That had Sir Patrick Moore in it. Yeah. Telebugs. That sounds familiar, actually. Let's take a look. Telebugs. Here, no, that doesn't look familiar. No, don't look familiar. But for the British people here, who remembers? Oh, what's it called? BBC. No, it's gone. Charlton and Wheelers. These cartoons are yeah, I don't know a lot of these. Kenneth Williams done Willow the Wisp. Yeah, I know Kenneth Williams is from the Carry On films. But Willow the Wisp, let's have a look if that looks familiar. Willow the Wisp. Willow the Wisp. Let's have a look. Looks a little bit like Hanna-Barbera, Flintstones type animation. Yeah, I don't remember that one, so yeah, quite likely that cartoon was before my time. King Rolo. No, never heard of that one. Someone but King Rolo. No, these are proper old school. King Rolo. Kind of looks like some of my kids watched once. I can't think of what it was, but somewhat modern at the time, maybe 10 years ago. The animation looks very similar to what they watched. I can't think of what it was. Born in 1981. So you know what? A couple of years actually makes a big difference. My partner, she's born 1985. In 2 years difference actually is a lot in terms of cartoons. And yeah, there's particular things I remember, and she don't because she's just 2 years. But that 2 years makes a big difference. Mr. Ben, not Mr. Men, Mr. Ben. Bagpuss, yeah, I knew Bagpuss is. Bagpuss, yeah. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Okay, so I have Atari and Amiga, but not Commodore yet. I must check your videos on playing set up Commodore. Jesus, Donovan, seriously, on my channel, you're spoiled for choice with Commodore stuff, literally. I've done so much stuff for Commodore. I've literally got a playlist which is most popular Commodore videos or something like that. I've done loads of Commodore. Best use of BBC Model B. Yeah, I had I actually used a BBC Model B in my first junior school years ago. And I suppose seeming the Model B released what around 1981-ish, 1980, 1981-ish, or was it 83? It was pretty old for the early 90s, I suppose, but I remember playing a program in it called Geordie Racer, which was a BBC educational program. If anyone's from the UK, you'll likely have had the same as I had. Every week you would watch a program. Another one was Badger Girl, and subsequently you would have a workbook to go with the program. And in some cases, you would have a game to play as well, like an educational game. Yeah, I've got no problem with Spectrums. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to look at Spectrum graphics and I didn't like the look of them. But 15 years ago, 16 years back, um, I bought a Spectrum. It was 128 plus, the grey model, which was the B model, or was it the A B model? I think it was, and I actually really got into it. And one of the games I bought it with at the time was I can't pronounce it, Alf Weinstein Monty, and the music in that game was just absolutely spectacular. Geordie Racer, yeah, Geordie Racer was awesome. All about Basil. You can actually watch Geordie Racer on YouTube, there's actually full episodes. And you know what? The weird thing is how serious that program was. And it was actually getting kids to watch this stuff. I was in Sheffield. I was in Sheffield a little while back, which is a couple of hours away from me. Being in Yorkshire, Sheffield's also part of Yorkshire. And I was speaking to a couple of locals because obviously Sheffield, it's known for Sheffield steel industry. It's known for, say, the Full Monty film from the 90s. Uh, Bands from the 90s came from Sheffield, and even the 80s, I'm pretty sure uh, Human League were from Sheffield. But anyways, one of the famous films from Sheffield in 1980 was a film called Threads about nuclear war. And it turns out I was talking to a couple of locals, obviously a lot older than myself, and they actually remember watching that film and in school. Obviously, this was during the first Cold War era, and it was almost like a documentary film showing you what would happen if nuclear fallout, that type of thing. And just a great film, really great film. Very old film. I let my missus watch it a little while back, a couple of years ago, in Threads for an old film. It starts off very slow, but when it gets going, that film is brutal for its year it was made. Very good stuff. Yeah, Elite on the BBC. It was known to be one of the best versions on the BBC. One of my favorite BBC games were Citadel. I really like that game. Okay, well we got keep up good work. Sorry, does retroarch come out before batocera? Uh, okay, so Jabba, the way it happens with updates, that type of thing, I don't think it's really a competition, to be honest. I just think when devs working with a particular front end are ready to release something, they release it. What they do is pretty much listen to their community and forums, that type of thing, and they'll just uh, iron out bugs and that sort of thing and fix things. So, um, yeah, so RetroArch, it doesn't actually get updated so often, but it actually got an update, what, 3 weeks back? Yeah, I agree. Rebs was pretty impressive for the time that one was built. It was, yeah, an impressive game, that one. You downloaded the retrobat. Yeah, so I say in my streams, people ask me from time to time, they say to me, are you still doing retrobat? You don't upload much anymore. And it's like, please take a look at my playlist. I've done it to death. Literally from ZX, Sinclair ZX80, right up to teknoparrot, RPCS3, I've done it. Um, so yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm done with retrobat. It was James. I was actually talking to her on the stream. Not sure if he was here. We was actually doing a bit of a basic earlier on. I don't think he was here at the time, but coding back then was yeah great. Obviously, you had people being become millionaires. Obviously, you got the Oliver twins, who went on to do Codemasters. Pretty sure Codemasters is something to do with the Oliver twins. Teknoparrot compatible retrobat. If you take a look at my playlist, Mark, you'll find everything in there you need for retrobat. Okay, so anyone who wants the playlist for retrobat to see what I've actually done, here's the playlist, and so I always refer people to the retrobat playlist because there's not much I haven't done for retrobat. Um, I'm sick to death of retrobat, to be honest with you. But anyways, I'm gonna say this like I always do, but But if anyone wants to make a donation for the work I do, please, please, please don't send it to that YouTube link, which I just posted by accident. Yeah, if anyone wants to donate to the channel and support what I do, please make the payment to PayPal. There you go. Um, and I always appreciate donations, always do. Imagine if you did actually code on the game today and how much you could actually cram on a game. Yeah, yeah, true, true. James, really interested in that. You know what? The thing what makes me laugh with games of today is that you'll get little teenagers whining that a tiny little bit of texture hasn't loaded up on the map somewhere, and it's like pure anxiety meltdown material stuff. And it's like, just let's just send that teenager or that kid back to the 80s and let's put them in that position where a game was so bad you couldn't finish it. They'll have something to have a panic attack and anxiety meltdown about. Yeah, it's very common back then. Obviously, I've seen the sort of pretty much the ends of that era in newsagents, but I did buy games from newsagents for around 1.99, 2.99. A lot of my Commodore games actually come from Toys R Us at the time, but yeah, games were that cheap back then, I suppose. And with a fiver, say you had a fiver a week pocket money, like I once did, you could literally buy a game and have a couple of quid to buy penny sweets. And wow, kids today, no. Um, your kids with pocket money today is a very expensive time we live in today. Um, yeah, just let's just say, for example, kids want they got an interest in Warhammer. Pocket money's not going to get them even likely not even going to get them a Games Workshop paintbrush, let alone a miniature. Kids' hobbies nowadays, or what kids are into today, are just ridiculously expensive. Yeah, I know about the Retrocave. I think I spoke to you about this before, Rasp. I actually watched one of his documentaries on the BBC Micro, and I randomly came across this channel at the time, and I was really impressed at the time how well he did that documentary. It's like one of the best I've seen outside of Micro Men. Yeah, so Ocean Games. The only Ocean release I had, Mark, was The Simpsons, Mark vs. Space Mutants, which I had for a birthday. That was a boxed edition. That was an Ocean release. Apart from that, most of my games were actually in the Hit Squad packaging, which were obviously repackaged to resell like games in the 80s, which sold really well. I suppose a bit like PlayStation Platinum games did. But anyways, what I'm going to do is quarter night now, because as a lot of you here is aware, I do a stream for about an hour. So what I'm going to do is obviously do another stream another night. Let's take a look. We're on Thursday, probably Saturday night. I'll end up doing another stream. So yes, if you've not seen it, check out today's retrobat 5 minute setup guide. And until next time, stay retro.